for his closing statement.
No, Moses did not fight battles. Read the accounts. Moses was not somebody engaged in physical warfare. But by way of conclusion, I think it's obvious that when we look at the prophecy in Deuteronomy 18, that's the background to the Pharisees' questioning of John the Baptist in John chapter 1. It's clear from the prophecy itself. These aren't made up criteria from Anthony. The prophecy itself that said that the prophet would have to be like Moses in these ways. He had to be somebody from among you, from your brothers. There's no time when that phrase is used to refer to somebody other than an Israelite. Even in the context, 17 and 18 are talking about the three anointed offices, the office of king, priest, and prophet. They all had to be Israelites. Clearly, the prophet had to be an Israelite. Muhammad was not an Israelite. Also, the prophet had to have an immediate face-to-face knowledge of God, according to all that they asked of the Lord their God at Horeb on the day of the assembly. That's what Deuteronomy 18 says. What did they ask for? That Moses would directly speak with God instead of God directly speaking to the people. So yes, that's a criteria according to Deuteronomy 18. Also according to Deuteronomy 34, quite explicitly. And yes, the prophet had to perform miracles. And no, Muhammad did not perform miracles according to the Quran. Okay, according to the Quran, Muhammad performed no miracles. He says, oh, yes, there are accounts of Muhammad performing miracles. Yeah, in much later sources. But how relevant is that when those sources contradict the Quran? If the Quran is the great proof that Muhammad is a prophet, well then, and then this other source is to be relied upon and they're contradictory, well then we've got a problem that the great proof of his prophethood ends up being contradictory mishmash. He says that I'm somehow being untoward or impolite or something along those lines when I call Muhammad a false prophet, a false teacher, an immoral man. No, these are the stakes, people. Remember, getting this right is a momentous matter. On this issue turns the question of where you will spend eternity, whether or not you will be forgiven by God, whether or not you're locating your confidence in the right man, whether it's a mere man like Muhammad, who taught inconsistently with all the previous prophets, who lived a life so scandalous that no prophet would have wanted to live in the same state as him. Or are you locating your confidence in that one man who is not only a man, but the word of God become flesh in order that he might die for sinners and rise again from the dead? And to demonstrate that he is the expected one, did things just like we're told Moses would do. In fact, he started giving us certain parallels allegedly between Moses and Muhammad. Think of the parallels between Moses and Jesus. Actually, I'll just give you a few. My time's getting short here. But one of the things we know is that the people of Israel often provoked God to wrath. God was going to burst forth in anger against them, but Moses repeatedly interposed himself between God and the people and said, no, take me instead of them. Moses acted like Jesus, not like Muhammad. Moreover, we're told that Moses had to die in order for the people to enter into their promised rest. The mediator had to die in order for them to enter into Canaan. Okay, all these things point to Jesus. In fact, there's another pointer to Jesus. There was somebody who succeeded Moses, although he wasn't that prophet. He was a type of the one to come who would be the true prophet like Moses. That man was Joshua. His name is significant. Moses deliberately changed his name. His name was Hoshea. He changed it to Yehoshua or Yeshua, which is Jesus in English. It means Jehovah saves. That's the one that Moses was predicting. That's the one you need to put your confidence in. That's the only one who can save you before God. Muhammad cannot. Muhammad's going to perish for his own sins. Jesus alone can save from